Today we're going to work on the third topic in our Pythagorean theorem. So at this point in time we've learned all about right triangles, how to identify the legs and hypotenuses, how to identify whether a triangle is a right triangle or not, and how to find a missing hypotenuse. Today we're going to talk about finding missing legs. In other words, help, I lost my leg. So today we're going to work on finding missing legs of right triangles. Missing legs are a slight bit harder than missing hypotenuse or missing hippopotamus. So we have to go through just a little bit more work to find our missing legs, but they're really not that huge a leap from missing hypotenuses to missing legs. If we look at day 3 in our With Mr. P packet, we're going to find the missing leg of the following triangles on the top, and it says, day 3. The very first problem they give us is a right triangle with a leg of 3 and a hypotenuse of 5. In this particular problem, we know that this is our hypotenuse because it's the longest side, also it's across from our right angle. Okay? When we set up our Pythagorean theorem here, it does not matter what position we put our 3 in, but our 5 has to be C. So we can say 3 squared plus B squared equals 5 squared, or we can say A squared plus 3 squared equals 5 squared. It really doesn't matter if you want to call 3 A or B, but 5 has to be C. Our hippo must be in the right position, otherwise our problems will be wrong. In this case, moving forward, Mr. P is just going to use the first version, so I'm going to have 9 plus B squared equals 25. Now, we can't just add these together this time because I don't know what my other leg is. So in order to find my missing leg, I'm going to have to subtract this leg over to my hippo. So instead of doing leg squared plus leg squared and then square rooting it to find my hippopotamus like I did yesterday, what I want to do is hippopotamus squared minus leg squared to give me the other leg. So B squared is 25 minus 9, which is 16. Now, B squared is not my solution, just like yesterday. I need to square root this in order to figure out what the actual answer is going to be. So we're going to go to the square root of 16. Those of us who know our perfect squares will know that this is in fact 4, which is our missing leg. If we don't remember our perfect squares, we just have to square root 16 in our calculators. Problem number 2 gives us a leg of 5 and a hypotenuse of 13. Again, we know it's our hypotenuse because it's our long side and it's across from our right angle. It again doesn't matter where we put 5. Mr. P is going to stay consistent and make 5 our A and leave B as our unknown. But it makes no difference if you make 5A or B. 5 squared is 25. 13 squared is 169. Again, in order to find B, I need to subtract my 25 across to my 169. So I do a hypotenuse squared minus A squared, and that'll give me B squared. In this case, our B squared is 144. So when I go to square root that 144, if I know my perfect squares, I know that that missing leg is in fact 12. But if I'm not sure about my perfect squares, then I just need to put that into my calculator to figure it out. Problem number 3 is very similar. I have a missing leg on top, a leg that's 4 on the side, and a hypotenuse that's 10. Again, I know it's my hypotenuse because it's my longest side, and it's across from my right angle. So I'm going to have 4 squared plus b squared equals 10 squared. 4 squared is 16. 10 squared is 100. To find my missing leg, because I have my leg in hippo, again, I'm going to have to subtract my 16 across. This time, when I subtract it across, I get 84. Now, 84 is not on my list of perfect squares. So when you're writing these on a sheet from Mr. P, you're going to write in the square root of 84. However, when you're doing this on your Excel later, like we did yesterday, you're going to have to do the square root of 84, you're going to have to put in probably a decimal. Usually 1 decimal place they're going to ask for. They may ask for it in square root form. They may ask for multiple decimals, so you need to pay attention to what IXL is asking you to do. Round to the nearest whole number, round to the nearest tenth, which would be 1 decimal, or round to the nearest hundredth, which would be 2 decimal places. Mr. P is going to do one more problem, and then I'll lay out the expectations for the rest of the lesson. Problem number 4 brings us to a leg of 7 and our hippopotamus, which is 12. Again, I know it's my hypotenuse because it is across from my right angle and it's the largest side. So I will have 7 squared plus b squared equals 12 squared. 7 squared is 49. 12 squared is 144. I need to subtract my 49 across. So b squared ends up being 91. That's not right. 95. There we go. Again, 95 is not on my list. So when I go to square root it, my calculator is going to give me a terrible decimal. So Mr. P is going to leave the square root of 95 on his sheet. When you go to do your IXL, make sure that you use the decimal versions. So today's expectations for the rest of the period are to finish off your day 3 page on your missing legs all the way down to 12. Then we're going to do all the missing problems we did on pages 1 and 2 from the other packet. So the other day on the packet, you should have done 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7 on the first page. So hopefully everybody's looking at their other packet now. Pause the video if you need to get the other packet out. But today on the other packet, we should be doing problems 4 and 6. Make sure that we've done anything that we haven't gotten done on this packet caught up, because we only have one more day of our Pythagorean unit before we are done with it. So make sure that you get all the way through all of it. Then on the back page, or on the second page of that, we should be doing all the problems with a C in them. So that would be problem 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. If C is there, C is our hippopotamus, therefore that is one where we're going to be missing a leg. So again, those problems are 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 on that second page. From the first page, you only had 2 problems, just 4 and 6. Then today we have IXL T2 to do. IXL T2. Remember, we're from 8th grade math. When we're doing our IXLs, we need to have at least 70 points and at least 10 questions answered in order to be done. Remember, that means if we have 70 points but we haven't answered 10 questions, we need to answer more questions. If we have 10 questions answered, we don't have 70 points. We need to answer more questions to get more points. But if we've already answered 20 questions and we still don't have our 70 points, we need to stop and wait for Mr. P to come help us with it. So if we're at that point, we need to pause and ask Mr. P when he comes back on Monday. So make sure that you have all 3 IXLs so far done. Make sure that you have all of the first 3 pages on the Pythagorean with Mr. P worksheet, our Pythagorean Day 1, Pythagorean Day 2, Pythagorean Day 3 sheet, and make sure that you have almost everything done on this other packet. The only problems you shouldn't have done at the end of the day today are the very last 3 problems on the 3rd page. Everything else should be completed by the end of the day today on that other packet.